only on CBS Mornings. As Gayle says, we love it when we say that. Yes. Sabrina Ionescu joins us right now. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us. Now, you join a number of women who have partnered with Nike for their own signature collection. Serena Williams, Megan Rapinoe, Naomi Osaka.
Whoa.
When I say those names, and now adding in yours, how does that make you feel?
Well, they're legends, obviously in their respective sports, but also just as people and what they mean to the sports world. So I'm super excited to represent Nike and myself and continue to change the game.
We're looking at a picture of the shoe there on our set. What went into the design? I see the swoop is in an unusual position.
It's not just on the set, it's on our feet. Now,
it's on our feet.
I did one of each because they're both so cute. But
this is a versatile shoe.
But then when Sabrina walked in, I said, are you wearing your own shoes? She goes, no, I wear my own shoes all the time. I want to do something. So we're representing for you,
Nah, she's stunting on us with the kicks today, though.
I am wearing Travis Scott.
I see you with the Travis Scott.
Yeah.
It's been years in the making. It's been like a process that's taken 3 years, but I wanted to create a unisex shoe. So the ability for young girls, boys, men and women to be able to wear it. But the design has been really fun, partnering with Nike. And yeah, the swoosh being upwards on the inside is just, you know, no glass ceilings, breaking barriers. And there's so many hidden designs in the shoe that I'm excited, you know, to be able to tell my story to the world.
So you mentioned something.
I love the lighting on the shoe right now. Go ahead, Tony.
Well,
I love the lighting on the shoe. It's pretty.
She mentioned something that's interesting, and I don't think we should blow past. So there have been signature shoe collections from men and women over the years, but this is the first unisex signature shoe collection. So it's not aimed at a particular gender. Why was that important for you?
Just growing up, I played basketball, and there were so many young boys and men that were like, you shouldn't be playing with us. And so when I was in the process of designing this shoe, I wanted anyone, anywhere, to be able to put this shoe on and accomplish whatever it is that they wanted to. And so that was the first thing that I told Nike is, I want this shoe to be unisex. The sizing's the unisex, obviously just the comfort, and anyone could put it on. You guys are here wearing it, so that was the whole point.
I love that. I know you're going to go, Gayle, but I remember Cheryl Swoops had a shoe, and as a young kid that was hooping in AAU, I was so mad that we couldn't get them. They weren't in the men's section. So I'm glad that you are breaking barriers and allowing young boys to wear a woman's signature shoe.
And these feel so good on the foot. Honestly, I want to run around and jump.
and may I say, they look good, too. They look good, too.
Thank you.
But I love your backstory. You know, you were first generation, you said Romanian-American. It was important to you to include the roots. You tell a wonderful story of your dad taking you to practice, and you didn't even know there was such a thing as a basketball shoe. Tell us about those days for you.
I mean,
what
my
this
family
means to you. Now you have your own line.
Yes, I know. It's still crazy to believe. I don't even know if my family understood what a signature shoe was when I first told them, but now they do. But yeah, just growing up and coming here, obviously my parents came here for a better life for us. And so being able to learn what a basketball shoe was, not playing in one originally, I was in Nike Dunks, and now to be able to see my name on shoe boxes and around the world it means a lot to me and my family.
You're also on the cover of this year's WNBA edition of the NBA, the video game. Full circle, you call that a full circle moment for you. How so?
I have two brothers.
You're a big deal, Sabrina.
That is cool.
Look
at that.
Look at that.
So cool.
Yes, I have two brothers, so...
Are you the only girl in the
I am the only girl.
They play video games?
Yes.
So they were hype.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That's what we played when we were younger. They're always playing with my player, and to be able to see my face on a video game is pretty surreal.
I think life is pretty good because you're also engaged. Your fiancé is who?
Hronis Grasu, football player, so...
is it a good love story?
It's a great love story, and
a
little Oregon Ducks love story. He played football at the University of Oregon, so he's a little older than me, but we met just as alumni from there and are now getting married in a couple months.
Wow. So you're right in the middle of wedding planning, in the middle of launching your line.
And in season, and in football season, so it's all... yeah, there's a lot going on.
And then just this morning, guys, she announced your foundation. Sabrina, do you need more things to do? So you launched your foundation. Tell us about your foundation. Just this morning you launched
Just this morning, yeah. It's been obviously a couple years in the making as well. I just want to continue to use my platform to give back to communities. And so launching my first event here in New York with the Dream School in the first week of September, and hosting a camp and wanting to give back in the communities that have meant so much to me. So obviously playing now here in New York, this was one that I wanted to help and just continue to change lives.
Well, I'm sure you probably can't tell it by looking at me, but I was never an athlete. So I'd like to know why this game means so much to you, what you love about this game. I'm always fascinated by athletes and their stories about
It's just given me so much. Obviously, how I grew up and my family coming here in search of a better life, we could have never dreamed of me being at this position, but the game's given me just so much to dream for. Ever since I was a little girl, I was committed to just being the best that I can be, and it's always given me so many opportunities in this world. So I just want to continue to give back because the game's given me so much.
Having this type of success on and off the court isn't easy. Matter of fact, it's the opposite. It's very hard. So what advice do you give to young kids that want to start a path in chasing their dreams? It doesn't have to be sports, not knowing the work it's going to take.
Staying true to you. I think it's this world, there's so many people that are going to tell you what you can and can't be and want to put you in a box, and people tried to put me in a box too, but I didn't listen to anyone. I continue to dream big, and whatever it is that I wanted to do, I worked harder than anyone that that possibly could work, and was able to say that I could accomplish it.
Well, bravo.
Right,
Mission
bravo to you,
accomplished as your wedding plans continue. Please know we'll come and sit on the bride's side.
Thank you.
You know our address.
Ooh, that garlic gonna have you with the hot breath. Tanera Mallory, how you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for joining us. Now, you posted your first actual post in 2019 on TikTok.
Yes.
That's trying to figure out the app.
Right,
okay?
right. Just playing around.
But your first reaction to a food video was?
August of 2022.
You're telling me in a year you have went this viral.
1 year.
What was it like when you realized you had went viral for the first time?
It was exciting. It was very exciting, but then it became a little scary because once you go viral, now they're looking for more.
Of course.
So it was like, can I top what I just did before? You know, like that was my thought. And I enjoyed doing what I'm doing so much till it was easy to just sit there and just be myself.
But the thing that catches everybody's attention about you, Tanera, is that your humor. You're so funny. Do you consider yourself a comedian?
I do not. I just consider myself a very silly woman.
Are you funny around your family, though?
I am, but they're used to me.
So you're the funny person in your family, then?
I would say so, but I don't know if they would say so.
Okay.
But everyone else around them
I'm
thinks
just a very silly woman. Because this started with you. Your daughters introduced you to the app and said, Mom, I think you can do this. You were at home recovering from some minor surgery. And you started with hood hacks. What were hood hacks?
So hood hacks it was just a freestyle comedy set I created where I take things around the house. I would take like plastic containers, I take styrofoam plates, I take straws, aluminum foil, and create things out of it.
And do what?
I've created backpacks, I've created like rocket launchers and things like that, and I would do commentary over it, like talk over it the whole time, and I would tell people like, this is what you can give your kids for Christmas. Don't go out spending all your money if you don't have it. If you don't have it, just make it. I take boxes and make things, so it was just something fun.
Little MacGyver action, yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Only things around the house.
But with the food videos, you've got this like kind of signature phrase, everybody's so creative, which
like
is so
that.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's so
hilarious.
perfect.
Because are you making fun of people when you say that, or?
I am, but it's in a it's sarcasm. So some of them, I don't think they know if I'm making fun. That's why I do it that way. I try to introduce it softly.
Yes.
Instead of going, what is that? You know, where I see most of the duets, I introduce it softly, but where everyone they know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But they can't call it out and say, she's being mean, because I'm not. I'm not being mean at all.
I'm not about everybody's so creative.
So did that just come to you? I mean, when did you realize you had a phrase here you're going to repeat?
Okay, so it came to me from just seeing the videos.
Yeah.
Like, that was my thought. Like, everybody's so creative. You know, this has to be what's going on because it takes a creative person to make those things.
Yeah.
But my husband is who talked to me about keeping that as a catchphrase. He said, I like the way you opened that up. I did it one video, and he said, I love the way you did that. You should open each one up that way.
Oh, husband, and now you've quit your job.
I have.
Oh.
What was your
Last month.
job? What was your job that you quit?
I worked for Whole Foods as a production cook for 11 years.
So you've quit your job, so your dream now is what?
My dream, I'm going to be on television. I will be in a setting where I will be doing some sort of freestyle comedy and dealing with food as well.
Ooh.
I don't want to say all my thoughts because I'm going to try to work.
You don't want anybody to steal your ideas.
I don't want. Don't y'all get nobody get them. Nobody.
And you know this because what, Tanera? That you know this why?
Because I feel it's me. It's me. Like, this is the most comfortable I've ever felt in my life. Like at 47 years old doing this. the most things I get out of people is, what are you doing at your age on the app? I said, having a good time, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm just starting to make money doing it.
And you can make a living doing this.
Yes.
And everyone else is enjoying it as well.
That's
right. The key thing.
The audience is letting me know that we need to see you other places. So that's what I'm going to do.
Let me ask you this, because there's people at home that want to get on social media. They want to get on TikTok.
Yes.
And something might be holding them back. So a lot of times it's age. What is your advice?
Go for it. Go for it and don't stop. Don't worry about with all the comments, the negative comments. Embrace the positive comments. You don't even see the negative. Keep going. No age, the sky's the limit.
And people just send you videos now and say, do me, do me.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're sending them to me.
It's now a compliment.
No, you're right.
They're
making them for me. Some people are tagging me in them.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello, Ashley.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good, how you doing?
We're good. You know, you hear about people's passions, but I've never heard of anybody with a passion for jam. How'd this happen for you?
Well, I've been a chef for over 18 years now. I've always been canning and preserving, and I lived in this tiny apartment on Trade Street in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I was like, I want to start a business one day called Trade Street Jam Company. And I moved to Brooklyn about 8 years after that, and super inspired by the maker culture, the food culture, and started jamming again.
But it's your flavors, too, that get me. That strawberry or grape, you kick it up a notch. Sour cherry ginger, I love this. Strawberry chipotle and fig. How do you come up with the flavors? Do you just see flavors and jams everywhere as you're traveling?
Literally everywhere.
What do you mean?
Any restaurant I go to, if I see a cocktail menu, I'm inspired, a food menu, you know, a good drink, I'm like, that's gonna be a jam.
Oh, okay, so your husband is a little bit of the taste tester.
Oh, yeah.
And you now have 2 daughters. So is this a family affair when it comes to the creating of these jams?
You know it. I mean, my littlest one, she's 1.5. When I tell you she eats, she is gonna eat. And so she's having jam every day.
Okay, we got some samples here, and what I love about this is, like, you are solving people's weekend conundrum of, like, I got people coming over, I got family in town, like, how can I put something on the table quickly?
Yep.
And you get some cheese, you got some crackers, and you got your jams here. So what are we trying here on the left?
And I'm gonna say this, I have tried these jams, and they are
you've already tried them. Okay.
They are fantastic.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
I love your process, but you know what I also like is your candor. Recently on Instagram, you shared that this journey has not always been so easy because we look at your success as you sit here today, but you said, I cut down the amount of people providing help. I can no longer afford their services. I cut my salary in half, and I'm really salty about that. The business has been a backbone for some time. It's caused depression, anxiety, physical pains. Hello, stress-induced ulcer. Over the months, my depression has turned into burnout, exhaustion, emptiness, feelings of drowning and dreading work. I guess that's better than depression. Were you having a bad day that day? I know, I was very touched by this. What made you share something like that?
For me, sharing is therapy, right? Just being able to kind of share my testimony. I think people have a tendency to glamorize entrepreneurship. And, you know, that's not always the case, right? There's highs, but there's definitely lows. And so for me to share, it's my form of therapy. And then I also know it helps people. You know, I've had tons of people reach out via DM and text and call and just say
thank you, I'll bet.
Thank you. You know, it's helped me lean into my faith. It's helped me be a better entrepreneur. It's helped me be a better mom, like whatever. And if I can do that, you know, that's kind of like my higher purpose.
But judging by the reaction, the business is going well.
The Chipotle fig is fantastic.
Thank you.
Which one?
I told you, Tony.
It's just on a store-bought cracker here. It is fantastic.
Which one is that?
That's been our best seller for some years now. That's the darker red one.
Darker. This says smoked yellow peach, too.
That's the yellow one.
So what's next for you?
What's next? Well, right now, we just launched a campaign. It's a fundraiser. It's called All Founders Need Therapy. And it's all about shining a light on mental illness, especially for small business owners. So we need to sell T-shirts. We need to sell jam.
Okay.
We need to sell T-shirts. We're trying to sell 20,000 T-shirts. That would kind of bring us some money into the business that we could re-inject and get back to a sustainable business.
I'm going to get your info, and I'll be chipping in.
No, this smoked yellow peach is awesome.
Thank you.
We thank you. You're honest and humble jam queen CEO.
That's me.
Thank you so much, Ashley. What were you going to say, Tony?
Thank you. I was going to say people can buy them online. They go to your website.
Yeah. Head to tradestreetjamco.com. You can find all the jams. We also have hot sauce and biscuit mix, and you can find out about the fundraiser there as well.
We salute you and we cheer you on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ashley. Thank you. Everybody has to eat. Have you fallen in love with this lady already? Yeah, you have. We are very excited to have Miss Barbara Talley live and in color in the studio. Hello, Miss Talley.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
So you've been doing this for over 40 years. Why do you still love it so after all this time?
I was made to do it. You know, I've developed a love for children way back. I'm not going to tell you how many years because you didn't know how old I am. But it just grew. And I found myself surrounding myself with children in different learning institutions, even at the women's prison, when we had the 16 years old and under. So it started with that, and it just kept growing, and that need to make people, children, better.
Well, I like what you just said, to make children and people better.
Yeah. Yes.
We could all use some of that.
Yes.
I like what you said at the end, because everybody needs to eat. You're absolutely right about that. Tell us the difference that this pantry has made, because so many kids don't get food or love or attention at home.
Yes, it feeds that need. You know, we all have basic needs. And if you eliminate any one of those basic needs, somebody's not going to turn out right. Yeah. So, you know, when kids come to you, they're hungry, they're unable to learn. Yeah. You know, when your stomach is growling, and the last thing you ate was probably the lunch before in school. Yeah. Because, you know, we take for granted that children are receiving the meals every day, and they're not.
They're not.
And I know that churches and businesses, they donate, but how often do the teachers kind of dig in their own pockets and purses? Daily?
Daily, if the need is there.
If the need is there.
You know, somebody is being fed. You know, even if it doesn't go through the pantry, you know, we have teachers who have food in their classrooms because their immediate class, there may be someone in that class that they can provide something for them to eat, and they can't get to the pantry.
That's what I think is so special.
So it's just trying to provide wherever, whenever.
Yeah.
Wherever. Well, we aren't the only ones inspired by your work. Drum roll, please.
Yes, let's do it.
Drum roll, please. Kind Snacks wants to furnish for you a $20,000 donation for your pantry. Could we get a check, please?
I'll help you out there.
A $20,000
You see that 20K right there?
Supplying your pantry with healthy grain bars throughout the school year.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, you're covering up your beautiful face. Put that check down.
Here, I can hold it if you want.
There it is. There it is.
This has never happened before?
No, it has not. You guys are too much. Too much.
Take this and place it right here. Here we go.
Well, thank you.
So how do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What will this do for you?
I mean, I don't have the words, because this means that we can, I'm out of words, we can provide more and more and more with the extension of the clothing pantry. You know, we need to add more shoes.
Yeah.
We need to add more, whatever, shirts that they can wear of all sizes. We have had donations of over 100 belts before, but that's not going to last when you have a population and trying to help young men learn how to wear belts. But this,
Yes.
this is going to put us on the map.
Yes.
Do you understand me, Faith?
I hope so. I hope so. Listen, we can't all but help be inspired by your look, your enthusiasm.
Of course.
You clearly love color, right,
I do.
Sally? Yes.
I do, and I love clothes. I try to dress up for my children every day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
dress
you're
up
not the only
for
one.
them.
We love clothes, too.
I can tell. I can tell. That's beautiful.
Thank you so much.
My
Thank
goodness.
you.
We also have
Yes.
another surprise, right? We want you to take a look at the pantry because Kind also wanted to surprise you with stocking the pantry shelves. So this is actually at the school, and they are
Stocking it.
We got a little jump
they're going to
start.
continue to stock it throughout the school year to make sure that you guys are always loaded with
Plenty
enough
of noodles,
snacks
huh?
and food.
We run out of noodles often. That's the main thing. Noodles and popcorn.
Okay.
Yeah, something
good to know.
easy and quick that they
Well,
can...
Kind is going
Callie-
to have the Kind snacks and bars and make sure that
Noodles and popcorn. America is listening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It was a
you.
pleasure to meet you. My glory. A pleasure to meet you.
Yeah,
Same here.
I'm so heartwarmed.
Yes.
Teachers are so special. Thank you for all
Well,
you do.
thank you. It's my pleasure and an honor.
And we know it's not easy. There's long days,
Yeah.
short nights,
And some nights.
and quite frankly, y'all are not getting paid enough.
No.
So we appreciate
Yes,
the
thank
efforts.
you.
And they're digging out of their own pocket all the time.
Right.
Yes,
Barbara
yes.
Talley, thank you so much for being
Thank
with us.
you
We
for
really appreciate
having
it.
me. This is beautiful.
And Luke Swenson joins us now. Luke, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity.
I noticed your pink shoes, and I know the bullying started with pink shoes way back when you were 13. This is not a Barbie accoutrement that came lately. So tell me how you took that moment of, I want to curl up in a corner, and turned it into an inspiring message for others.
Yeah, you know, that was really, really a tough time in my life. The bullying piece was really in the middle of one of my biggest parts of my life, and that was when I used to race cars for kids with pediatric cancer. You know, we would pay for their flights and their ability to get to their cancer treatments, and that was something that was, at that point, really, really big for me. And I wanted to wear pink shoes to just promote that even more. And that was honestly one of the roughest days of my life. You know, that was the day I wanted to give up. I wanted this entire thing to not happen, and I wanted to give up on it all.
And how did you go from that moment of extreme low to something so inspiring that you're now here talking about it?
You know, I was able to look, and I learned a lot, honestly, from my dad. You know, he gave me a great piece of advice that don't make a decision the day something happens. I waited that next day, and I remember running down the hallway in our house in Montana, and I said, Dad, I want you to go and buy me the brightest pair of pink shoes you can find. Because I don't want to let kids who have no idea what these mean define what that might turn into.
I like Dad's advice, but I also like the fact that you said you're 18 now, that you've always wanted to help kids since you were 7.
Yep.
And that going through your parents' divorce really affected you. How? And how did you know at 7 you wanted to help others?
Yeah, you know, my parents' divorce was rough. It was the constant, you know, tugging and pulling between what you would experience through a divorce, and having to go in between houses was something that was so rough for me. But it was because of, you know, finding a way to be able to help kids, and actually with that being racing cars.
And did you know other kids who were going through a divorce? Was that part of the
problem? You know,
maybe?
that was something that when I was younger, you know, I really didn't know any of the kids in my school who were going through that. I really felt like it was just me. But I was able to turn what happened with that divorce, turning it into racing, turning it into that age of 7 and wanting to go out and help as many kids as I possibly could.
You like to focus on high schoolers and middle schoolers. Why those age groups specifically?
Yeah, you know, I like to speak to everybody. But really the middle schoolers and high schoolers, I feel I'm able to share the assembly in its entirety. You know, in the assembly, I talk about mental health, teen suicide. I talk about the hard topics that I know a lot of people are really either scared or don't want to talk about. And I feel like with the middle and high schoolers, I'm able to fully share that, and they fully understand, you know, kind of what's going on, and they're able to then turn that into something of their own.
One of the things you say is, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Don't you like that, Nate? I like that.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's true, too. What do you mean by that, and how is that
even as adults, Gayle?
Yeah, I know, also true.
Yeah, so that was something that I'd heard from a speaker that I listened to. His name's Mark Merrow, and that was something that I really took to heart, because back in Boise where I live, I'm thankful to have a really great friend group. You know, they kind of support everything that I do, and they find what I do pretty cool. But I'm able to show these kids, you know, after the assembly, that the friend group that you're with, you'll know when it's the right one. Right, there are friends who they'll bring you down, and they'll put you in a place you don't want to be. But if you have those friends who support what you do, are there for you all the time, they can put you in such a better place.
The motto of your organization is, if I have this right, it's imagine, believe, achieve.
Yep.
What do you want kids to take away from that?
Yeah, that's something that's really big in the assembly. You know, it's the name of my new assembly program that we've just revamped this year. And it's something that I always bring in the assembly. I want kids to, if they have a goal that they can imagine, and they can truly believe in that goal, and no matter what it takes to get through it, they can achieve almost anything.
How are you so poised at 18? Help me understand that, Luke Swenson.
Most people are afraid of public speaking. You're touring the country doing it.
Yeah, you know, I honestly, I have to give thanks to my dad. My dad, for the longest time, worked in sales and a sales rep, and I would come home to him being in the sales meetings, and I would just pick up off of that. You know, I'm able to turn something that I learned from him so many years, and now it's the reason I'm standing up on stage.
So you and your dad are tight. Are you and your mom still healing, can we say?
Yeah, yep. You know, my dad and I, honestly, through this entire thing, through the assemblies, through the early divorce, through all the hard times that I've gone through, it's just grown us closer and closer. We spend a lot of window time together. Yeah. You know, a lot of these assemblies we drive to. No matter where it is across the country, we'll drive to them. So we kind of look at each other as, if we weren't dad and son, it'd be kind of like a brother.
Wow.
To me, he's my everything. He's the reason I'm here today. He's the reason I'm sitting here right now.
That is beautiful. Shout out to Pops.
Shout out to Thor Swenson.
Thank you so much.
Love this one too. It's called Hair Love ABCs. It's an alphabet book that teaches babies and toddlers the ABCs of black hair, like A is for afro, B is for braids, and C, by the way, is for conditioner. I love that. First on CBS Mornings, Matthew A. Cherry and Vashti Harrison join us now to discuss. Because normally, A is for apple, B is for boy, C is for cat, A is for afro here, B is for braids, C is for conditioner. How did you decide to do this, guys? Matthew, you take us.
Yeah, for us, it really was just about, I have a young daughter now. She's 10 months old.
Her name is Theory.
Name is Theory Marie.
I love that, yeah.
Cherry, and just wanted to do something that kind of reimagines the baby board book, you know, to make sure that the youngest readers are able to really see themselves represented when they're starting to learn their words. And yeah, which has been really fun, just figuring out all the different word combinations and the images that'll go with them.
I'm glad we got the X on the screen there for a moment there. X braid is for the letter X.
Yeah, a lot of hairstyles.
How did you all come up with what letter was going to go with what word? Because, for instance, I is for imagination, J is for joy. I mean, I love M is for moisture. Yeah. And I love O is for what, Vashti?
Oil.
Yeah, because as little black girls, you know, we all have to.
Oil.
You know this, Nate.
That's right.
Oil. Did you know this, Tony? You got to oil your scalp.
Yeah. No, I did know that.
But I love that O is for oil. So how did you all decide what? Of course, we know the letters, but what was going to go with each letter? What was your thinking?
And the images, Gayle.
Yes, and the images, right.
I think it was just about trying to be creative, adding in as many hairstyles as possible, but also letting the reader into the experience of what it is to have a family, a black family, and do their hair. So I think just being a little bit fun and creative with it.
And not everything is all about hair, like joy and imagination.
Yeah.
And speaking of being fun and creative with it, I mean, in illustrating this, what were you going for? I mean, where did you start, and how did you end up where you ended up?
Yeah, well, these are characters that people already know from the picture book and from the short film. So I was mostly interested in being able to share them and share their lives in a slightly different way, try to be a little bit more impressionistic with the art and make it feel really soft. Books are very intimate. They're things that you sit down and read together. So I wanted it to feel really cozy and warm.
Matthew, you transitioned out of sports. I mean, for those who don't know, you played in the NFL. And it seems like the NFL, or even sports in general, a little more receptive to long hair. You know, locks are very popular in the league. But you have transitioned to being one of the leaders in the space that you're in now, in books, but in media, film, and movies. You could have easily said, you know what, I'm going to do the corporate look, cut my hair off. But you didn't. You kept your locks. Why is it important for you to be the most authentic version of who you are, even in the industry you're in right now?
Yeah, you know, I think it's all about being who you want to be. You know, thankfully we work in a space where, you know, you're able to wear your hair how you want to wear it, but oftentimes a lot of people in workplaces, certain schools are not able to wear braids, they're not able to wear locks. And so, you know, thankfully through acts like the Crown Act, which stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair, just laws that are passed that allow us to be ourselves. And it's just, you know, at the end of the day, I hope we live in a world where everybody gets a chance to be who they are, whether they have hair or don't have hair.
Yeah. Also, talking about being who you are, now you're a dad. When you did First Hair Love, about a dad doing his daughter's hair for the first time, you didn't have a child. Certainly you didn't have a daughter.
Yeah.
So how has Theory changed your life in terms of what you're thinking about her hair?
Yeah, and do you got skills?
Yeah, I was wondering that.
You do her hair.
Yeah.
No,
Does she have hair?
It's not really as long yet for me to really get up in there yet. But she's
It's not long enough for you to get up in there.
Not yet. But no, she's the best. And you know, in a lot of ways, I feel like I willed her into existence. You know, being a filmmaker a lot of times is just about being able to show empathy, even with things that you may not have experienced yourself yet. And you know, I just really wanted to do something that represented Black fathers, and I knew eventually I wanted to be a dad, and you know, now I am, and it's great.
Vashti,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of film, you studied film in school, and I know this book is meaningful to you. We got a picture of you and your father braiding your hair when you were a kid. But how did you make that turn from studying film? Oh, it's a really cute picture.
Yeah. Did your dad know how to braid your hair?
You know, my dad did braid my hair, although my mom was the main hair doer in the family. There were times when my dad stepped in, and I remember feeling very proud of it. I remember getting compliments on the braids that I had, and so it's such a special thing to remember.
Well, you must be getting compliments now as a #1 New York Times best-selling illustrator and creator. I mean, it's going well.
Yeah, it's great.
Forget film school.
Well, you know, I really appreciate being able to make work that reaches young people, and it feels like so meaningful and exciting to do work that sticks with kids.
Yeah, well, it does. Vashti Harrison and Matthew A. Cherry, thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it, guys.